I have a morning meditation that I do. Well, I wake up now, I get my sunlight, I hydrate, I use the bathroom, I do all the things that I talk about. I've started a practice of prayer in the last year, which is new-ish for me, which is, we could talk about
in the morning.
Yeah.
Can you talk about it a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. And then I have a meditation that I do that actually is where I think through what the different roles that I play. Mm-hmm. So I start very basic. I say, okay, I'm an animal. Like we are like biologically animals, right? Mm-hmm. Human, I'm a man, I'm a scientist, I'm a teacher, I'm a friend, I'm a brother, I'm a son. I go through this, I have this list and I think about the different roles that I have and the roles that I still want in my life going forward that I haven't yet fulfilled. It just takes me, it's sort of an inventory of where I've been, where I'm at, and where I'm going, as they say. And I don't know why I do it, but I started doing it this last year. I think because it helps me understand just how many different contexts I have to exist in and remind myself that there's still more that I haven't done that I'm excited about.
So within each of those contexts, there's like things that you want to kind of accomplish to define that.
Yeah. And I'm ambitious. So I think, I'm a brother. I have an older sister and I love her tremendously. And I think I want to be the best brother I can be to her, which means maybe a call, maybe just, we do an annual trip together for our birthdays. Our birthdays are close together. We always go to New York for our birthdays. We've gone for the last 3-4 years, really reminding myself of that role, not because I'll forget, but because I have all these other roles I'll get pulled into. Mm-hmm. I say the first one, I'm an animal because I have to remember that I have a body that needs care. Like any of us, I need sleep, I need food, I need hydration. I need that I'm human, that the brain of a human is marvelously complex, but also marvelously self-defeating at times. And so I've been thinking about these things in the context of the different roles. And the whole thing takes about 4 or 5 minutes. And I just find it brings me a certain amount of clarity that then allows me to ratchet into the day. The prayer piece, I think I've been reluctant to talk about until now because I don't believe in pushing religion on people. And I think that, and I'm not, it's a highly individual thing. And I do believe that one can be an atheist and still pray, or agnostic and still pray. But for me, it really came about through understanding that there are certain aspects of myself that I just couldn't resolve on my own. And no matter how much therapy, no matter how much, and I haven't done a lot of it, but no matter how much plant medicine or other forms of medicine or exercise or podcasting or science or friendship or any of that, I was just not going to resolve. And so I started this because someone close to me said, a male friend said, prayer is powerful. And I said, well, how? And he said, I don't know how, but if you can it can allow you to get outside yourself, let you give up control and at the same time take control. I don't even like saying take control, but the whole notion is that, again, forgive me, but there's no other way to say it. The whole notion is that, like God works through us, whatever God is to you, he, him, her, whatever, life force, nature, whatever it is to you, right? That it works through us. And so I do a prayer. I'll just describe it where I ask, I make an ask to help remove my defects, my character defects. I pray to God to help remove my character defects so that I can show up better in all the roles of my life and do good work, which for me is learning and teaching. And so you might say, well, how is that different than a meditation? Well, I'm acknowledging that there is something that bigger than me, bigger than nature, as I understand it, that I cannot understand or control, nor do I want to. And I'm just giving over to that. Mm-hmm. And does that make me less of a scientist? I sure as hell hope not. I certainly know there's the head of our neurosciences at Stanford until recently. You should talk to him directly about it. Bill Newsom has talked about his religious life. For me, it's really a way of getting outside myself and then understanding how I fit into this bigger picture. And the character defects part is real, right? I'm a human. I have defects. I got a lot of flaws in me, like anybody, but, and trying to acknowledge them and asking for help in removing them, not magically, but through right action, through my right action. So I do that every morning. And, I have to say that it's helped. It's helped a lot. It's helped me be better to myself, be better to other people. I still make mistakes, but it's becoming a bigger part of my life. And I never thought I'd talk like this. Mm-hmm. But I think it's clear to me that if we don't believe in something, again, it doesn't have to be traditional standardized religion, but if we don't believe in something bigger than ourselves, we at some level will self-destruct. I really think so. It's powerful in a way that all the other stuff, meditation, all the tools is not, because it's really operating at a much deeper and bigger level. And, I think that's all I can talk about it. Mostly because I'm still working out, the scientist in me wants to understand how it works, and I want to understand. And the point is to just go, there's for lack of a better language for it, there's higher power than me and what I can control. I'm giving up control on certain things. And somehow that restores a sense of agency for right action, better action.
I think perhaps a part of that is just the humility that comes with acknowledging there's something bigger and more powerful than you.
And then you can't control everything.
Yeah.
That you go through life as a hard driving person, forward center of mass. I remember being that way since I was little. It's like I knew Legos. I'm like, all Legos. I was like on the weekends, learning about medieval weapons and then giving lectures about it in class when I was 5 or 6 years old. We're learning about tropical fish and, cataloging all of them at the store and then organizing it and making my dad drive me or my mom drive me to some fish store and then spending all my time there until they throw me out, all of that. But I also remember my entire life, I would secretly pray when things were good and things weren't good, but mostly when things weren't good, because it's important to pray. For me, it's important to pray each morning regardless. But when things weren't right, I couldn't make sense of them, I would secretly pray. But I felt kind of ashamed of that for whatever reason. And then it was once in college, I distinctly remember I was having a hard time with a number of things. And I took a run down to Sands Beach. It was UC Santa Barbara. And I remember I was like, I don't know if I even have the right to do this, but I'm just praying. And I just prayed for the ability to be as brutally honest with myself and with other people as I possibly could be about a particular situation I was in at that time. I think now it's probably safe to say I'd gone off to college because of a high school girlfriend. We essentially, she was my family, more than my biological family was at a certain stage of life. And we'd reached a point where we were diverging, and it was incredibly painful. It was like losing everything I had. And it was like, what do I do? How do I manage this? I was ready to quit and join the fire service just to support us so that we could move forward. It's just, but praying, saying, I can't figure this out on my own. It's sort of like, I can't figure this out on my own. And how frustrating that is. No number of friends could tell me, and inner wisdom couldn't tell me, and eventually led me to the right answers. And she and I are friendly friends to this day. She's happily married with a child, and we're on good terms. But I think, it's a scary thing, but it's the best thing when I can't control all this. And asking for help, I think, is also the piece. You're not asking for some magic hand to come down and take care of it. You're asking for the help to come through you, right? So that your body is used to do these right works, right action.
Isn't it interesting that this secret thing that you're almost embarrassed by that you did it as a child is something it's another thing you do as you get older, is you realize like those things are part of you, and it's actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah. A lot of the content of the podcast is, deep academic content, and we talk about everything from eating disorders to bipolar disorder to depression, a lot of different topics. But the tools are the protocols, as we say, right? The sunlight viewing, all the rest. A lot of that stuff is just stuff I wish I had known when I was in graduate school. If I'd known to go outside every once in a while and get some sunlight, not just stay in the lab, I would have, I might not have hit a really tough round of depression when I was a postdoc and working twice as hard. And when my body would break down or I'd get sick a lot, I don't get sick much anymore. Occasionally, about once every 18 months to 2 years, I'll get something. But I used to break my foot skateboarding all the time. I couldn't understand what's wrong with my body. I'm getting injured. I can't do what everyone else can. Now I developed more slowly. I had a long arc of puberty, so that was part of it. I was still developing, but how to get your body stronger, how to build endurance. No one told me. The information wasn't there. So a lot of what I put out there is the information that I wish I had, because once I had it, I was like, wow, A, this stuff really works. B, it's grounded in something real. Sometimes certain protocols are a combination of, animal and human studies, sometimes clinical trials, sometimes there's some mechanistic conjecture for some, not all. I always make clear which. But in the end, figuring out how things work so that we can be happier, healthier, more productive, suffer less, reduce the suffering of the world. And I think that, I'll just say thank you and for asking about the prayer piece. Again, I'm not pushing or even encouraging it on anyone. I've just found it to be tremendously useful for me.